please remain standing for the national anthems of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the People's Republic of China. You're kindly asked to remain standing afterwards for the opening prayer, led by Reverend Father David Can, Episcopal Vicar, Southern Vicariate, and Parish Priest of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, Roman Catholic Pro-Cathedral.
Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we give you thanks for your bountiful blessing and the opportunity to work together in a spirit of collaboration and unity. May you strengthen the bonds of friendship between the Chinese Embassy and the San Fernando City Corporation, especially the gift of the Chinese Ambassador Scholarship Program. Bless each person gathered here this morning and the scholarship recipients and their school. May you continue to look after us, watch over us, and take care of us. May our blessing today be the beginning of a friendship, of unity, peace and love, now and forever, as we make our prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Father Can. You may be seated. Mayor of San Fernando, Alderman Junior Regrello and Mrs. Regrello, His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Republic of China to Trinidad and Tobago, Fang Chiao, representing the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West and Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, the Honorable Faris Alrari, Ms. Alicia Ali, Madam CEO, Ms. Heather Crawford, representatives of the Ministry of Education, Mrs. Anne-Marie Javaro Perez, Deputy Mayor, Alderman Dr. Ferry Hussein, members of Council, members of Administration, Episcopal Vicar and Parish Priest, Reverend Father David Can, representatives of the Chinese Association, awardees, specially invited guests, members of the media, good morning again and welcome. I am Anne-Marie Sumad, your Master of Ceremonies for today's program, during which His Excellency Fang Chiao will present scholarships to 3 deserving young people. As someone who spent 35 years in the field of education, it is indeed an honor for me to guide you through this program today and to offer my personal thanks to His Excellency for the scholarships he will award. We will begin with a video prepared by the Chinese Embassy, which will focus on the introduction of the relationship between China and Trinidad and Tobago. When I say that in your 2 years here, Your Excellency, despite the pandemic, you have certainly been very busy and hard at work. I now invite Mrs. Anne-Marie Guevara Perez, School Supervisor 2 for Victoria Education District, to bring remarks from the Ministry of Education. Mrs. Guevara Perez.
Thank you, Madam Mistress of Ceremonies, His Worship, the Mayor of San Fernando, Alderman Junior Regrello and Mrs. Regrello, His Excellency, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Trinidad and Tobago, Feng Xiao, representing the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West and the Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, the Honorable Faris Alwari, Ms. Alicia Ali, Madam CEO, Ms. Heather Crawford, Deputy Mayor Alderman Dr. Ferry Hussein, members of Council, Episcopal Vicar, Father David Kahn, members of administration, representatives of the Chinese Association, specially invited guests, members of the media, a warm good morning to all. A warm good morning to all. Thank you. It is my pleasure to stand before you today on this auspicious occasion to bring short remarks at the ceremony to award scholarships to students in the Victoria Education District. I am always excited whenever our students are being assisted, recognized, or set out academically or otherwise. In times like these, it is always a point to reflect at where we are and what continues to drive us as a nation. At the 1962 Independence Day speech, our first Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Eric Eustace Williams, advice to the nation was visionary and far-reaching. While he sought to establish in our minds our new status as a nation, his focus on the youth and education stood out preeminently in his nation-building inspirational discourse. That speech remains as relevant today as it was then. The literal interpretation of the book bag then can be figuratively understood today. He wanted us to cherish learning, to seek it out, to make it personal, to carry it with us, to protect it because it was ours. The same holds today. We must become self-directed learners, intrinsically motivated to seek out knowledge and pursue it. But more importantly, we must use it for building our nation. This is what Dr. Eric Williams said. To your tender and loving hands, the future of the nation is entrusted. In your innocent hearts, the pride of the nation is enshrined. On your scholastic development, the salvation of the nation is dependent, unquote. He went on to further identify 4 scholarship winners who were then instrumental in charting the course of the nation. He informed that at the birth of our nation, 4 of its leading personalities, 4 of the people with the heaviest responsibility for its guidance in the cabinet, parliament, and judiciary were all scholarship winners, educated abroad at the expense of your parents, the taxpayers. They were the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice, the Deputy Prime Minister, and the Leader of the House of Representatives, as well as the Leader of the Opposition. And he urged that when you return to your classes after independence, he wanted us all to remember that you carry the future of Trinidad and Tobago in your school bags. While this scholarship today is not the same as the one referenced by our first Prime Minister, it is no less an excellent scholarship. And for this, you, the awardees, you must make good the investment in your future. As I stand today to bring these short remarks on the occasion of the award of scholarships to our students, I must reiterate that youth awardees, if you inculcate our nation's watchwords of discipline, production, and tolerance, and make it part of your guiding principles, we would certainly be a greater nation. And you, Mr. Ambassador, will be equally proud that your assistance and award of scholarships to our students was well placed. On behalf of the School Supervisor 3, Mrs. Jasmine Ramuta, and the entire Victoria Education District, I say thank you to the Chinese Ambassador and wish all our awardees continued success in their academic endeavors. The sky is the limit. Go on and make a difference. Work and make a difference, locally, nationally, and globally. Remember, you carry the future of the nation. in your school bags. I thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Guevara Perez, for your very inspirational message. We continue item with Master Liam Joseph White from St. Paul's Anglican Boys' School. On pan this morning. So please welcome Liam Joseph White to entertain us on pan. Liam. Well done, Liam. Great job. Thank you very much. His Excellency Fang Chiao in 2020 was assigned his posting as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the People's Republic of China to the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. He has expressed his willingness to work together with our government and people to further consolidate and deepen the comprehensive cooperative partnership between China and Trinidad and Tobago in order to benefit the two countries and the two peoples. And today, these three young people will certainly benefit from the generosity of His Excellency. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency Fang Chiao to give us his remarks.
Thank you, Madam MC. His Worship, the Mayor of San Fernando, Alderman Junior Regrello, representative of the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, the Honorable Faris Oravi, Ms. Alicia Ali, Madam CEO, Ms. Heather Crawford, thank you. Representatives of the Ministry of Education, M. Mary Guevara Perez, Deputy Mayor, Alderman Dr. Ferry Hossein, members of council, members of administration, representatives of the Chinese Association, especially invited guests, members of the media, dear awardees, good morning. It is my great pleasure and honor to be present at today's scholarship awarding ceremony. I would like to begin my speech with thanks. I want to express my appreciation to His Worship, the Mayor, for his attentive care and attention given to the education of the younger generation, whose immediate response to my initiative of setting up the Chinese Ambassador Scholarship helps to turn one of my wishes into reality. I would also like to thank the educators in this room, on whose shoulders lie the future of this country. Of course, my best wishes go to our students, especially today's awardees. You should be proud of yourself for working so hard and being so excellent. I just mentioned that I have many wishes. As Chinese ambassador, my strongest wish is certainly to further promote the long-standing and well-established friendship between our two great nations. A friendship that has withstood the trials of hardship and is growing even stronger as time goes by. In the hard times of the pandemic, we have been fighting shoulder by shoulder, and our bond of friendship has been further strengthened. No one is an isolated island in today's world. Solidarity and cooperation are indispensable to overcoming the difficulties facing us. In this regard, our two countries set the example. In recent years, the practical cooperation between China and Trinidad and Tobago has witnessed rapid growth and yielded fruitful outcomes. The Southern Academy of the Performing Arts, SAPA, built by Chinese company with the provision of concessional loans from China, has become a local landmark and an important hub for cultural exchanges. Trinidad and Tobago is the first English-speaking Caribbean country to participate in the Belt and Road Initiative, the first Belt Road Initiative project, the Phoenix Industrial Park, not far from San Fernando, is to be completed later this year, and is set to inject new impetus to the social and economic development of Trinidad and Tobago and benefit more people. Our two countries are also working closely to explore potential of cooperation under the framework of the Global Development Initiative. The initiative was proposed by Chinese President Xi Jinping last year to pool international strengths to foster more robust, greener, and more balanced global development. As the GDI shares high convergence to Trinidad and Tobago's development strategy, I have no doubt that it could bring more opportunities to China, Trinidad, and Tobago cooperation. Another wish of mine would be making friends with people of this country. As we all know, affinity between peoples is the foundation of state-to-state relations, and the trees of our friendship has its roots in our younger generation. The only way to build a stronger self and a stronger nation is education, which, as Chinese President Xi Jinping points out, holds the key to the realization of the two centenary goals and the fulfillment of the Chinese dream of the great rejuvenation of our nation. I'm happy to see that China and Trinidad and Tobago hold the same view on education and have placed education as an important integral part of our bilateral cooperation. Over the years, many of TT's top students have studied in China with the Chinese government scholarship and become young envoys of our two cultures. Recently, China announced that it will provide more government scholarship to Caribbean countries, including Trinidad and Tobago. It is my sincere hope and belief that more and more TT students will have the chance to visit my country and experience the Chinese culture one day. The awardees today will, of course, be our first choices. Your Worship, dear friends, it is my pleasure to be here today to present the very first Chinese Ambassador Scholarship to 3 outstanding students of San Fernando. And I took today's event a reminder that we share the same vision, that the future of our nations is promising. For our younger generations are hardworking, true to the heart, and will carry on the traditional friendship of our two countries. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the award ceremony next year.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We will continue to treasure the friendship between the two countries as we work together, and we look forward to visiting China. And I did hear that we're going to be here next year, please God, for further scholarships. So thank you very much. I have another cultural item, and this time from students of San Fernando West Secondary School. Really developing themselves on the steel pan from young, a national instrument. So, Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Christian Edwards. Thank you, Christian. It was short and sweet. We were ready to listen to a little more. Since being appointed mayor of the city of San Fernando in 2016, His Worship the Mayor, Alderman Junior Regrello, has significantly contributed to the upgrade of San Fernando in all areas: culture, education, physical infrastructure, social, commerce. He has a vision for San Fernando and has been working relentlessly to realize his goals. Almost on a daily basis, our very vibrant and fit mayor can be seen walking the streets of San Fernando to interact with the citizens. When changes are to be made, he dialogues with all stakeholders, can be sympathetic to please, and willing to consider new ideas. He's actively involved in various NGOs in San Fernando and is quite a historian with a knowledge of San Fernando that is very impressive. I invite His Worship the Mayor of San Fernando, Alderman Junior Regrello, to give his address.
Thank you, Ms. Ahmad. And may I say that the choice of cultural presentation this morning had nothing to do with me. Schools selected their band. And in listening to these young fellows play, looking at an audience reminded me of a story that Dr. Rowley once told us. He said he was selected to represent Tobago for a speech day. I think it was one of those competition at Queen's Hall, and he had to speak. And he came on stage as an 18-year-old and looked at the audience and went dumb. He couldn't say a word. So I said to the doctor, what did he do? He said he ran off the stage and couldn't complete the exercise. And there you have probably a 9 or 10-year-old came on stage and played a very intricate piece, the first player, because it's an East Indian piece with peculiar rhythms that he would have been too young to be accustomed to. So it's in that context we have to appreciate the contribution made by the students. And as I listened to the national anthem played, I felt, and I looked at the audience and this cross-section, a very diverse audience, I felt a sense of pride when I listened to our national anthem. We hear our anthem sometime twice a day, every function, every event, we play our national anthem. That's how we are as Trinidadians. But there's sometimes when the anthem resonates with you in a very particular way. And this morning was one of those times when I look across at the audience. And the other time I can recall when the anthem really give me goosebumps would have been 1976. And I took pride this morning as I took the ambassador across the street and showed him our Wall of Fame. And the first gold medal won by Trinidad and Tobago was won in 1976. And those of us who were alive at that time felt that sense of pride when we heard our national anthem played in Montreal, Canada, when H.B. Crawford, the San Fernandian, won our first gold medal. And as I showed the ambassador our achievements, I also said to him, the first medal was a bronze medal, was won in 1948 by Rodney Wilkes, another San Fernandian at the Olympics as a weightlifter. So we continue to excel in sports, and may I say in education, and that's why we're here this morning. Permit me to recognize His Excellency the Ambassador of the Republic of China, Trinidad and Tobago, Ambassador His Excellency Fang Guo, representing the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, and Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Honorable Faris Arwari, who unfortunately is not with us today because he has to attend Parliament, and he's represented by Ms. Alicia Ali. Madam CEO, Ms. Heather Crawford, representative of the Ministry of Education, Ms. Anne-Marie Rivera Perez, Deputy Mayor Alderman Dr. Ferry Hussein, members of Council, members of administration, awardees, representatives of the Chinese Association, Dr. and Mrs. Edmund Chamley, who has the keys for the city, and he was a very special guest with us this morning. Mr. Kiran Singh, President of the South Chamber of Commerce, former Member of Parliament, Ms. Joni Williams, Father Khan, who so eloquently took us through our prayer this morning, members of the media. It is my extreme pleasure to work in concert with His Excellency and the Embassy of the Republic of China toward the provision of scholarships to students here in the city of San Fernando. From our inception as an independent nation, education has always been a cornerstone of our national development, and our representative from the ministry very eloquently explained Dr. Williams' very famous speech, "The future of our nation is in our children's school bag." The accuracy and veracity of these words continue today. Many of us do not recognize the enormity of this national privilege, as free education from primary to secondary is a hallmark of our society and a claim that many other countries do not share. It was a decision by our first government to ensure that our citizens all receive a proper education by heavily subsidizing this critical facet of our society. This is accomplished by refocusing the earned revenues from our national resources to ensure the development of our principal resource, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. The critical focus on our people is similarly held between the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and the People's Republic of China. Education is recognized as one of the most powerful tools in the eradication of poverty in the nation, with the benefits of a well-educated population benefiting not only individuals, but communities and ultimately a nation. San Fernando is uniquely blessed to have one of the highest concentration of educational institutions as well as educated citizens in the country. A fact that as a San Fernandian, I am most proud to announce. However, as a newly developed nation still struggling to attain a higher standard of living and better quality of life, the economic constraints remain a challenge for some. Too often we hear stories of brilliant children falling by the wayside in their educational aspirations due to financial circumstances. This is where scholarships and mutual developmental relationships, such as the relationship between the City of San Fernando and the Embassy of the Republic of China, become a beacon of opportunity. Today, we proudly present our first three recipients with what we hope will be the first of many scholarships provided to us by His Excellency and the Chinese Embassy. Most appreciated is the fact that these initial scholarships will be given to some of the hardest working and most deserving students in San Fernando. I think we should clap to that. It is quite often we focus on the achievements made by our more prestigious schools in San Fernando without recognizing the amazing untapped potential of others in our city. I see so much potential in all our students and how often amazing and talented children are sometimes overlooked. In fact, when I visited the schools to make this announcement, one teacher, it brought tears to her eyes because she said, "Mayor, I did not expect this." And this is how profound this strategy is. This is the beauty of this scholarship initiative, as we intend to keep our focus on the less fortunate, but also on the most tenacious students of the academia, who show their potential in the classroom. These scholarships today are not a handout, but a hand up. It is our recognition of the potential of our students in San Fernando, regardless of where they come from. Today we don't see where you are, but our focus shifts beyond the horizon as to where you can be. I want to personally thank the ambassador for the way we collaborated on this. It was extremely strategic in understanding the dynamics of what we had to do and not get flack for doing it. And it requires some thought, it requires some understanding, and requires deep concentration. China is an amazing country. It was Dr. Williams in the 1960s who took a team of officials and government officers and went off to China. Some say he had an infinite appreciation for Chinese, but I think he understood the value and the potential of China. China is a major force in the world today. For those of you familiar with what's happening with economics, there's a silk cotton, what is it? What's the term for the silk cotton road that China is outlining, where they originate, and when it says silk, it's a smooth road to get to transform and get to other countries and develop a nexus of progress and success. For those of you who never been to China, you need to go to China. I remember arriving in China in 2006, and when I touched the ground, I felt I was on holy ground. There's so much history there and so much achievement. In fact, I walked down the streets of Beijing was a Sunday evening, and I thought I was in New York. Not in terms of the similarity of the culture, but how much they are advanced in terms of when you look at Manhattan and the lighting system. Manhattan don't want nothing with Beijing for lighting. It is amazing. And you have to look at the progress and how they are able to achieve. Some may say that China is lacking natural resources and they had to import, but you have to look at what they export. And we could learn so many lessons from going to China. Do you know that you can see the Great Wall of China from in space? It stands out as a beacon. So we welcome this initiative, we welcome our relationship, and as we build togetherness and we build friendship, and as the ambassador outlined this morning and our conversation today, we can expect a lot more from the Chinese embassy. I want to At the end of this formal part here, we'll be taking a tour. We're going down to the waterfront. We are also looking at the police station next door that was burnt many years ago and seeing to just hanging there, languishing, and can go forward. Let us see what can become and what can come out of this visit. In closing, we look forward to seeing your progress, and once again, thank His Excellency for his consideration in the development of our city's children. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship, for all you do and for seeking the interest of all our students from all our schools. Next in our program is the presentation of the grants to the 3 students selected to receive the scholarships from the Chinese ambassador. I invite His Worship the Mayor and His Excellency to please join us center stage. Each school will also receive a token from the Chinese ambassador. And they are in position, so we're ready for our 3 deserving young people. And our first recipient from San Fernando West Secondary School, Miss Karishma Ramdial. Karishma is 17 years old and loves biology and science. She dreams of being a doctor one day because she loves to help people. As you see, they're also getting a scholarship, a certificate of the scholarship. Open Bible High School, Miss Naomi Brown. Naomi is 16 years old, and she wants to one day run her own business and be a successful entrepreneur. Sorry? Finance. Okay, finance. She's going to run a finance company. And then we have a young man from St. Paul's Boys Anglican Primary School, Master Daniel Garcia. Daniel is 11 years old. He has a passion for learning about animals and wishes to pursue further studies in marine biology. Daniel dreams of one day of becoming a successful content creator and influencer.